Alright, welcome back everyone. So another month, another tournament. So this is round one. This time we're playing with Venus and with promo corps as well, and promo cards. So not the big box promo cards, but the original promo pack. So that consists of Splice, Recyclon, and Arcadian communities, and stuff like penguins and self-replicating robots, etc. So nothing too impactful from the promo cards, but fun little addition. So, real quick, I think this is the first Venus game I'm showing on the channel, so let's talk about Venus and what makes it play differently than the regular base plus preludes that some of you guys have seen. So Venus adds basically 50 new cards to the deck, and the deck was, like 215 or so, so we're basically adding 25% new cards to the deck. However, of these new cards, you've got Atmos Scoop, GHG import from Venus, and orbital reflectors as the only ones that really do anything with helping raise the global parameters, meaning that every other card does absolutely nothing towards helping you raise global parameters. So what this does is it effectively takes the whole deck and dilutes it by 25%. So that means that if you're the Terraformer, you are no longer as likely to see stuff like Giant Ice Asteroid, NRA, Deimos, etc. And what that means is because it is unlikely for you to find these events due to the deck being thinned out by 25% more engine cards, essentially, it's going to be much harder to execute a rush type of game plan. As a result, you kind of have to take a more mid-range approach to the game. If you go all in on rush, sometimes it'll work out for you because you'll get lucky and find the cards, but more often than not, you're going to face plant because you're not going to find the cards you need because the deck is so diluted. So with that being said, that talks about like the general gameplay, but let's also talk about the two new awards and milestones. So first is Hoverlord. Gotta have 7 floaters on the card. In general, I don't think this is a milestone that happens very often. Why is that? It's because it's very rare you want to stack up 7 floaters on the card. Normally, what you're wanting to do is you're wanting to use those floaters in order to gain an advantage, like drawing a card, getting power, getting income, etc. There are some cards where I think it could make sense, such as dirigibles. Also, in expansions, you got stuff like Titan shuttles and whatnot as well that might help make it more viable. But in this expansion, I don't think Hoverlord is really a milestone you can ever go for outside of dirigibles and some other very niche things like air scraping expedition giving you 3 floaters to help get you over to Hoverlord. It's just too much of a tempo loss. The other one is Venophile, and that one is a lot more playable because Venus tags, you're kind of all in on Venus or doing nothing with Venus. It's very rare to do a kind of mid-rangey approach, though you can, certainly. It all depends on the cards you see. But yeah, with Venus Governor, that's the one Venus card you have to really be aware of because the 2 tags can really swing things. So Venophile is not an award you'll see funded too often unless you have an overwhelming lead on Venus. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the game. So we got Arcadian and IC, and so I'm choosing Arcadian because I think Arcadian has, on general, the higher upside, though IC could work if we have a bunch of building tags. First page, I see a land claim, which is very fun because Arcadian loves having a land claim because that works for their ability. Also an Arctic Algae, which Arcadian also loves because being able to place oceans and then place greeneries next to those oceans on reserved areas gives you a ton of money. Electrocat's fine, not a bad target with Metal Rich Asteroid. Ironworks and Commercial District aren't really interesting without more power. Okay, and this is the page 2. Earthcat, Building Industries, and Media Group. So when you say, I got EC, someone goes, which one? You go, yes, to this one, because I have both Earthcat and Electrocat. And I even have the Building Industries to pay for it. I would really like to find some power, so I can play both of these without having to standard the power, but, I can't be upset about having this hand. Earthcat's fantastic to have in the opening hand, Media Group's fantastic, Arcadian's a great corp. Arctic algae is great. All in all, this is a very strong hand. Um, Self-replicating robots. This is one that uh, I briefly mentioned in the intro. It's a fantastic card if you can put it down on some nice space events or cards that are pretty expensive that are not huge development. So, for example, you would not want to play this card on IO, because IO is a card that you would want to play early. However, it's a great card for Wife or Ganymede Colony or TG or ICS or Large Convoy, all those things. Because it's okay to have those cards sit around for a while and build up in value, because this is one of the only exponential, maybe the only exponential cards in the deck, right? It goes 2, 4, 8, 16, 32. That's insane growth, and there's nothing that really requires you to go to 64, but you could do it if you wanted to. Only real downside is it has a 2 science requirement, so I do want to consider finding ways to take care of that science requirement, because this is a card you want to keep in play in the opening hand in most cases when you're playing with Venus. So we look here. You see the IO research outpost, and you might think, oh, Thread, why don't we just grab that for the science tag for the self-replicating robots? But that's a mistake. We don't really need the Jove or the science tag that desperately. One titanium prod in the card is very weak for a prelude, and the other 2 preludes just give us too much expected value to ever justify taking IO just for the science tag, just for self-replicating robots, when we don't even have another science tag we really want to play. I know you might be thinking, oh, but what about design microorganisms? But no, that is not a science tag I want to play when I have an Earth catapult sitting in my hand. I need to develop those things, and playing design microorganisms is just too slow to align with that game plan. Uh, so based on this hand, I think it's a pretty clear Arcadian. Yes, Icy with Media Group is extremely good, but Arcadian with Land Claim and Arctic Algae is really good. And with the steel I have with the building industries, I don't really need IC to dump out everything. I'm okay with taking a little less steel and a little more cash and a better ability overall, I think. And just going Electrocat, Land Claim, Arctic Algae, and then Earthcat, self-replicating robots, building industries, and media group. That's the path I want to take for this hand. So I sit there, I'm thinking, media group is nice. I really can't go wrong with either of them, but I think you could go with both of them. So I'm going to skip ahead a little bit, having told you what I'm picking here, because my opponent had some issues, because new patch introduced some issues with the mods and made it so it was not compatible, and so we sat around for like 5 minutes trying to figure out how to get into the game. So we're skipping ahead. Yep. Alright. So here's where he loads in, so we'll go ahead and watch him here. So he's Terractor and plays Martian Industries and Molehole Excavation. So not good preludes right off the bat. He has some steel, so I assume he has some building tags he wants to play. But those are very weak preludes. Martian Industries, as I've said before, I only view it as good for turning on Electrocat. But I have Electrocat, so I don't really know what he needs it for. Maybe his other ones were, ecology experts. I don't know. But anyway, bad preludes, so you love to see that for your opponent. So ASA draws me Atmoscoop and GHG. So GHG is not good. That is one of the terraforming cards I talked about, and look at that level of terraforming. My gosh, 23 mega credits plus 3 to buy it for 3 heat production? Are you kidding me? Who's going to pay for that? At least Molehole area, you get a tile and an extra heat prod for 3 mega credits less. Here, sure, I get to raise Venus, but it's not congruent, right? It's if I want to raise heat, why am I trying to raise Venus? Likewise, if I'm trying to raise Venus, why am I trying to raise heat? It just doesn't make sense for the cost of the card. So that's basically a non-starter for me. Atmoscoop is more interesting, but it has a 3 science requirement, so it's dead until I manage to find 3 science tags. and he opens with IO Mining Industries. So, that's unfortunate, but it just means I got to avoid giving Jobs for the rest of the game. Um, so generally with Arcadian on Tharsis, I am a big fan of starting right there on 2 plants and 4 cash spot, and then you're just kind of wrap around all the good rebate spots on the map. He does one, I do one. I'm standarding a power to play the Electro Cat. And I'm going to start selling off my minerals, and if I don't find a power, I'm going to do one next gen in order to play Building Industries. I could do it now, but I think it's better to wait. So you can see I'm already expanding a little bit there. Alright, so this draft, you gotta cut the Terraforming Ganymede, right? Your opponent just played Io. Also, since Venus has diluted Terraforming cards, it's also diluted the Jovian multipliers, meaning it's harder to find the Jovian multipliers, making Jovians a little bit more niche of a strategy. Uh, that also means that when you see a card like Terraform Ganymede, you absolutely cut it from the guy that already played IO because there's no reason to put yourself in that higher risk situation. As much as I'd like Sabotage with Media Group, there's a chance he comes back and he takes bushes. Alright, Snow Algae is one of the worst cards in the game. I honestly do not know what they were thinking when they made this card. So, it's from the promo pack. It is just utter garbage. I mean, you look at this and you go, okay, so a plant is worth 12 mega credits, and a heat is worth 6 mega credits, so it's 18 mega credits total. And this is like the worst case, right? Adapted lichen and micro mills. So what happens if we do that? So it's 18 mega credits, and we put it on a card that costs 15 mega credits. So, it's a 3 mega credit savings with a requirement of more than 2 oceans. Okay, so 2 oceans, while not like a huge requirement, is still a requirement that sometimes make this unplayable. Furthermore, you've somehow combined 2 of like the worst cards of their types into one and just gave it a 3 mega credit discount. It's just not good. It's bad. If you need NRA or something, fine, but this is a card you should try to avoid. Giant Space Mirror is my answer to my prayers. It is everything I wanted. I hate I had to standard that power for Electrocat now, but it gives me the power of building industries. It gives me a use for all my titanium that I have sitting around. It's just great. So happily grabbing that. He did take bushes, so I take Sabotage. He gets back the junk Tropical Resort. Alright, so do I want TG? No. I don't have any titanium production. I understand I talked about how you kind of want to go mid-range to Engine when playing with Venus, but TG is just not congruent with what I'm trying to do. Too expensive, not enough payoff. Definitely with Media Group and Earthcat, there's no reason not to take Sabo, but there's no need to rush it out either. And obviously Giant Space Mirrors is great. Now, do I want an urbanized area? I think with Venus being like it is, it does tend to be more grindy. There are more opportunities for cities to come down. I think urbanized area is a fine speculation, especially as the 4th pick here. I don't think I'd first pick it, but I think it's fine to pick up here with Earthcat. Alright, so what's there to do? I'm just selling and playing the Earthcat. Like I said, there's no reason to rush to Sabotage. I'll get there eventually. He gets some card draw with his aerial mappers. Pretty good. Nice having card draw. So I go ahead and land claim. So the fun thing with Arcadian is that land claim acts like Arcadian itself, meaning that by playing a land claim on the other side of the river, I can now start reserving stuff on the other spot of the river as well. And so now I can just walk across both sides of it, taking up all the real estate. It is completely degenerate and very, very strong. He plays Deuterium Export as well, which is another great card for him. He's got all the power and card draw coming in, which is a little scary, honestly. And again, I'm just waiting on the Sabotage. I'm going to try and sabotage his Titanium. He played Io. I assume he needs it. And I just developed Giant Space Mirrors and Building Industries, and I'm not playing that garbage GHG. It's terrible. Okay, So looking at this hand here, if we're playing a mid-range strategy, we kind of have to go Inventor's Guild, right? There's really no way around it. Carbonate processing is okay, but it's not particularly strong either. It's kind of just meh. It gives us a little bit of heat control, but is that heat control good enough to justify losing that power? Because power is kind of valuable when you have steel production. Likewise, ICS is fine, but it's not great. Extremophiles, I love Extremophiles, man. That's like one of my favorite cards ever. But is it really doing it that much in this format? Not really. I don't have any real symbiosis with it. Like if I had sulfur-eating bacteria or I had, GHG bacteria, I'd consider it higher. But well, I think it only adds to. I have to check it now. Does it only add to Venus or is it any microbe? I think it's any microbe, but let me check. Yeah, any microbe card. Yeah. That's one of the reasons why I love it. But anyway, I gotta take Inventor's Guild here. It's just too good with mid-range. Extremophiles, my beloved, though. Okay, so this changes things now. Obviously, Advanced Ecosystems is a great card. I like it a lot. However, Artificial Photosynthesis is my second science tag. So, if I have two science tags, that allows me to play self-replicating robots, which is very good. It's great production to Atmoscoop or the ICS, and so I think it's worth playing that because yeah, it's 15 mega credits now, but it's going to be like over 30 mega credits over the course of this game. Extremophiles came back. He took the carbonate, which I'm not really sure on that one. I'm a little skeptical of that decision in the draft. But as much as I love Extremophiles, I think ICS is a little more aligned with what I'm trying to do here. And it's a great way to charge up the Atmoscoop, play that, and then start charging up the ICS and play that for basically free. And that's really strong to basically have free 4 points. Boy, it's a tongue twister. So you take those three. With Electrocat, I'm rich enough to afford it. I can play the card draw the card, and then play the replicating robots and photosynthesis and start charging up. So he does get up to 5 heat prod, which is fine. But like I said, I'm not really convinced losing your energy is worth it, but he could get more with deuterium. And he draws a card. And we just start walking over to the east. Gonna try and take the 6 pocket and then the other 6 pocket and can really greed those rebates once it can no longer be taken from you. Alright, Ishtar Mining. I don't know why they gave this an 8% Venus requirement. Like, sure, the card's cheap, but 8% is pretty far away. With World Government Terraforming on, maybe it's more playable. Or with, like, MSI or something. But for me, it's too expensive, too far out of the way. We're not bothering with it. So anyway, yeah, let's go ahead and start on our plan. Self-replicating robots start charging up the Atmoscoop. Okay, so he's at 4 titanium. So here's where I want to go ahead and plan on starting on the sabotage his titanium plan. So here's my choice of cards. Obviously, peroxide power is fine, but he already has deuterium export, so he's not really hurting for power if he needs power. The card I'm actually most threatened by here is Stratopolis, and I'm threatened on it because he has aerial mappers, which is, action add a floater, action remove a floater. What I'm not really keen on doing is giving him Stratopolis to allow him to draw every turn from that aerial mappers. That makes the card a lot better to get a card every gen instead of every half gen. Furthermore, I know I talked about how I think Hoverlord is kind of a bait here, but Stratopolis is one of those cards that does enable Hoverlord if it's playable. And so because of that, I think it's far scarier than what these other cards can do to me. Also Mir, I suppose. Okay. Well, I don't know what he took in order to give us an asteroid mining when he played an IO mining, but we don't give him back the asteroid mining. That's too dangerous. It's not bad for us with 15 titanium just sitting around. Um, okay, so he took the other card, which is better. Of these cards, I think Extreme Cold Fungus is the most dangerous with sulfur eating bacteria around. So I'm just going to cut the Extreme Cold Fungus so sulfur eating bacteria cannot be used against me. For those of you that don't know, sulfur eating bacteria is 3 mega credits for each microbe on a card. Um, so I have a card like Atmoscoop, which allows me to put floaters on the card. I don't have a place to put floaters on the card. Um, I could maybe try and go for Hoverlord with Stratopolis and Atmoscoop, and I'm definitely going a little far off the track here by even considering Stratopolis. But I mean, let's be honest here. My hand's kind of empty. I don't have a lot to do. I have an Electrocat shooting stuff off. Is it really so bad to play a Stratopolis here? I'm not convinced it's that bad. Not that good either, but I think it's okay to speculate on it in this situation. And so I do. Forget it. Alright, so we're sabotaging his titanium, and now my spidey senses are tingling. I am thinking to myself, if it were Gen 4 and I had nothing to do, what would I want to do in this position? And the answer is I would SP a Ocean for 2 cards. Maybe not me per se, I really hate that play, but a lot of players would. So as a result, I really don't want to lose any Ocean value. I do know that I just gave him small asteroid, so he is going to probably use it to blow up 2 of my plants, but whatever. At least I get the plants eventually. So I'm gonna just Arctic algae now. After confirming that I can afford the asteroid mining, and let's make sure I'm getting my plants I deserve. And sure enough, immediately SP's the ocean on 2 cards. Played it like a fiddle. Um, so I could sell the plant. If I sell the plant though, I'm at 3 plants already. So I'd go down to 2 plants. Small asteroids kills 2 plants, so it really doesn't do anything to sell the plant here. I'd still be losing it all, so I just say, I'll sell a steel. And let's go ahead and expand and get my 6 pocket reserved. I do want my 6 pocket. And yeah, sure enough, the small asteroid comes along, which we expected, because then he raises heat and gets the heat prod bonus. Artificial lake, too far away, not really enough steel to really consider it that viable. I skip. I do think about it, but ultimately I don't think it's good enough. And we keep our exponential scaling going on the Atmoscoop. So he's using deuterium and he's adding the floater to it. He's not taking it away for power. So that's a little odd in that, I mean, I think it's slow, but it does kind of tell me he's looking at the idea of going for Hoverlord. So it's something to keep in mind. Um, of these cards, Miranda Resort is a Jove tag, therefore I want to keep it away from the guy with IO, so I'm taking Miranda Resort. Mining area is not that good for him. He doesn't have a tile. Okay, so you've probably watched enough of my BGA videos to know that I love Urbies. Urbies is a really great card. However, in this situation, I think it's supposed to be Immigrant City because I just gave him a mining area and I do not want to make it so he can easily get a tile down for a mining area. Furthermore, Immigrant City is good for me because I have a lot of steel sitting around. I have Arctic algae. I'm going to want to be able to place tiles next to the oceans in order to get myself a lot of rebates. So Immigrant City lets me hop around and take advantage of all of that. So I think it's a clear Immigrant City as much as I love the herbivores. Some people made fun of me for that. Those people were wrong. I think this is correct. Uh, I learned my lesson from the last tournament video. Small animals. I'm not letting it happen to me again. Red Suits isn't that good of a card anyway. And I don't know why they added this pop-up saying time to draft your cards. Like, duh. Don't get to 2200 elo while not knowing how to draft cards. Anyway, all these are playable, so I think this is a buy all and play all eventually. 2 Earth tags isn't great, but it's not horrible either. So he's continuing to draw, so he's not like hard pushing the Hoverlord, but he's still adding the floater. So Physics Complex is interesting. I have 4 power. It wouldn't be that hard to get to 6 eventually. It could let me score. More importantly, it's my 3rd science tag. I don't have another science tag in hand. It could help me towards builder. It would definitely help me play my Atmoscoop there. So I'm thinking about if it makes sense with my steals sitting around to just have a guaranteed way to make Atmoscoop playable. Ultimately, I decide I don't think so. He plays Acquired Company, which great is Terractor. You can see he already has 4 floaters on the Deuterium, so again, I'm a little skeptical of that. And then the Media Archives, I was like, wait, what? A Media Archives? Must mean Cartel, which makes me very glad I did not give him the Miranda Resort just now. Go ahead and just reserve more area, keep up in the Atmoscoop. Yeah, there's the Cartel. And then a Lunar Metropolis. Okay, I'm actually getting a little scared there. The guy just got up to 14 mega credit production. He's ahead of me on TR. He has control over the heat track. He's got, good mineral production. Like, he's looking a little scary. But I do have an Earth Cat. So, I mean, can't hate your position with an Earth Cat in Arctic Algae and this in Media Group. So I'm still okay, but I am a little concerned. If I don't find something better to do, I could be in some trouble against his superior income. Oh, hey, speaking of, what a pack. You obviously have to take the AI Central, right? You can't pass the AI Central with a guy with that much income, but sure sucks to pass the anti-grav. Means I can't get -5, but yeah, I mean, gotta take the AI Central. And he's going to take anti-grav, and then we'll have to decide, do we want the Venus card or do we want the geothermal power? I did pass on the physics complex, and I was kind of regretting it until I get the research coordination, and I'm like, well, better lucky than good. Research coordination and the wild tag in general is much better on Venus format. Why is that? It's because the game added a new type of requirement to the game, which is 1 Earth, 1 Jovian, and 1 Venus tag. It's usually easy enough to get 2 of them. Sometimes that 3rd one can be a real pain, and the wild tag helps out very much with making that 3rd tag a reality. Because it's a relatively big discount on it, right? So think about a card like mine. A card like mine is 4 plus 3, so 7 mega credits in order to get 1 steel production. So 2 steel production by that same nomenclature would be 14 mega credits. There's a card like Mining Quota out there, which is 5 mega credits, so 5 plus 3 is 8, meaning that it saves you 6 mega credits if you have a Venus, Earth, and Jovian tag. So it's a substantial savings if you can manage to meet that requirement, but it's not always easy, especially at Jovian tag. But hey, Wild Tag solves all your problems. You love to see it, so yeah, Wild Tag is just a gift here. Alright, so between the 2 of these, we know he has deuterium export. He can get power whenever he needs it, so geothermal, not really that important. I have media group. If I am worried about sulfur-eating bacteria, spin-inducing asteroid is one of those cards that helps turn it on, so I should just take that card and help ensure that I have more control over Venus than he does. Besides, with AI Central, it kind of looks like I want to be making the game go longer, and pushing the Venus track is a good way to score points, get income, and make the game go longer if you're the engine player. With Atmoscoop, I can combo it to get a card as well, which is fun. So you buy those 2, and why not a 3rd? I have media group, might as well. Opponent is a little in the tank there, trying to figure out what they want to do. I sell the plant. I take the mining rights because mining rights is pretty fantastic. Um, I sell the plant because I really want to spend all my steel on getting AI online and mining rights and whatever else is going on. And so, yeah, there goes my AI, and I'm sure at this point my opponent groans. Oh, AI and Earth Cat. Yeah, sorry, buddy. Then I draw a research outpost. Better lucky than good, as they say. Yeah, this is where I started to go like, oh man, I'm scamming this guy. I feel bad for him, but this is suddenly turned into a kind of insane setup. Um, you can see my mouse going like, okay. Because now I definitely have the science tags for that Atmos scoop. And now I'm just trying to figure out, okay, how do I play this now? Uh, I think I eventually decide let's not greed out the immigrant city, but also let's double on the Atmos scoop. So let's look at Atmos scoop real quick. Oh, 4. It is 4 mega credits for this card. 3 after research outpost. Like that's insane. 3 mega credits for a victory point and 2 TR in floaters, but I can't even use the floaters. Yeah, so self-replicating robots already has paid off 18. Well, can't double count the Earth Cat. 16 mega credits of value, and it's only Gen 6. It's only going to get more valuable from here. So, it's the classic situation of how much do I greed? Do I do the immigrant city? Do I do the cupola city? Do I do the research outpost? What card do I want to play? How greedy do I want to be? Ultimately, I decide, let's do the research outpost. We'll go here. So I have access to all those. And then I'm going to use mining rights to go over. Oh, okay. I decide I'm going to push Venus to get a card. Mining rights over there, get the titanium. Then with my titanium, I perfectly pay for that. And I go ahead and get the card. And I get quantum extractor. Again, better lucky than good. And we'll just go ahead and start reserving more spots around Noctis City. Because I might want to put a city around there. Or a greenery around there. I don't know. World's kind of my oyster here. And then imported hydrogen. When you have Arctic algae, you love to see imported hydrogen because you only need one plant in order to get a conversion on Tharsis. And so, yeah, I will happily take that, especially with a media group, especially with a discount of 3 off all cards, especially with a quantum extractor, further discounting space cards. My opponent has 71 mega credits, and then they pass me a GIA. I'll be honest, I don't know what on earth they took over this, but not the right decision to pass that to the guy with Arctic algae, in my opinion. Nitro Moss is nice because it is playable soon enough. Venusian Insects also not bad. Take away the GHG producing bacteria just because I did give him Extremophiles. That could combo with Extremophiles, and it is a science tag. I did give him an antigrav, so why give him another science tag? Just take away those types of things. And then, hey, I mean, he gives me back a Nitro Moss. I'll take a Nitro Moss. Absolutely. Alright, takes Planner, as we figured he would. He had been saving up cards with all that cash sitting around, and so that's fine. We draw cards. Business Contacts is actually not bad. I mean, heck, even the stupid Robo Workforce isn't that bad here. It is more science. Helps guarantee, I can get a little more production. I have -3. I say, why not? -3, you shouldn't be too picky on your cards, and might as well be greedy. He does take Planner. He is going to be able to start using his floaters for power now, which is nice. I can go ahead and start selling off my steel again. I got everything down I wanted to get down. And time to start charging up the ICS. Start getting that payoff. Alright, there's Earth Office. There's Olympus Conference. So that's scary. That means he starts to have a path towards anti-grav now. Also, the Earth Office means I don't have to feel bad about waiting on business contacts anymore. It can't get any better than it currently is. But I also don't need to rush it. Let's just go ahead and start getting some discounts. Then I get large convoy. That's pretty good. Now, predators. How do we feel about predators? It is a 1-point animal, yes. However, it is also very far away from where all the parameters are at. What I'm looking at here is I'm looking at a comet for Venus, which is going to be significantly discounted in the future, most likely, and as a result, it also with Media Group is basically like a point for 3 mega credits, which I mean, I like points for 3 mega credits. It's hard for Predators to reach that level of efficiency, and it's so far away. I think Comet for Venus just makes a lot of sense, especially if I find optimal arrow braking, which is looking incredibly juicy right now if I were to find it. Oh, Lagrange. All right, so I'm starting to really worry about the anti-grav threat now, because he just did Olympus into Lagrange. In rover construction. Rover construction is a lot better uh, in this format for the reasons I mentioned before. You kind of have to play a more mid-rangey, which means you usually have to make more cities. And look at that. Look at the disgustingness. I played imported hydrogen and I got the same exact amount of cash as I started with. You know, I got 5 mega credits of rebates from placing my grenade next to the ocean. Absolutely disgusting. And I'm looking at the milestones. I have to be cognizant of Builder here. It is possible he could take Builder from me if I am not careful. He plays Standard Tech, and he plays GHG. GHG is weird. Standard Tech makes enough sense, means he's working towards Antigrav. But looking at his money, looking at the tags, I kind of come to the conclusion of I have to go for getting Builder here, or Mayor. both are achieved via this method. As much as I hate this ugly city, I do have to do it to get the extra mega credits in order to be able to afford to sell a card and claim Mayor. I claim Mayor because it's funnier than claiming Builder. It's just something you can't risk when your opponent is that rich. And yeah, there's the geothermal putting the pressure on me. So farewell GHG import from Venus. You did your role of being worth 1 mega credit when I needed it. He raises heat. Sure. I'm just going to keep expanding around Noctis City, giving ways for me to get conversions and get money back, because it's super gross. That's just Arcadian for you. Alright, Heather is a great card. Just go ahead and pick that up. Yes, there's a symbiotic fungus with the extremophiles, but not really a concern. Martian Rails, power card right there, but mining quota is just obviously insane for the reasons I said already. Having the wild tag makes it so I have an easy way of meeting the 3 tag requirement there, so you just take that mining quota. I mean, 2 mega credits, like, you kidding me? Give me that. Solar power, the Magfield Dome is so bad. So bad. And then windmills, honestly, windmills isn't bad here. It's not great, but it's not bad. You definitely take Heather and mining quota, and I have 5 energy, so I think I could skip on windmills. It's far enough away. I have AI Central, I have Inventors Guild. There's no reason to force it. Alright, so Magfield generators, also terrible. I do like local heat trapping though. Restricted areas, absolutely a yes. That's a great way to get over to the south where I have my rebates and I can put oceans there and I can just get a lot of value. He draws his cards, uses his floaters, yeah, standard stuff. And now I'm debating, do I just want a large convoy? And I think it makes a lot of sense to just go ahead and drop the large convoy. Start pushing the oxygen track. I don't really want to do GIA before I can drop it on him with the bushes that he wants to play at -10. So I think I can still get more value there. See more cards. Get some nice conversions. So I convert there for 3 back. Caretaker's not great. Gene Repair is fine though. I'm fine with that. And yeah, he could blow up my plants, but I figure, he didn't before, so I don't think he'll do it now. And he plays the Martian Rails. What a Chad. Time to start earning some income from all these cities. So 3 mega credits. Let's see how much he earns over the course of the game. I go ahead and just put down the reservation and immediately place the greenery just to get extra money here because money seems important. He raises heat, so Heather's playable for me. And I wanted him to do it because I did not want to make it easy for him to turn on bushes. So I will be waiting on holding my energy until my heat until he already has bushes himself. I don't want to make it easy on him. He is a lot richer than I am. He plays grass. Alright, I could consider blowing up those plants, but realistically, it doesn't make enough sense. I can't really afford to do GIA. And I decided, restricted area, I'll miss out on 2 cash, but it's worth it to go ahead and start drawing some cards. Because when you got -3 to all cards, you just want more cards, right? Phobos is not really the card I'm looking for, but it could be okay. Mining quota, yes please. I could copy 2 steel, which is fun, but with 4 steel production, I think I've already got enough. I have a lot of space events in hand, so I think just copying titanium makes the most sense. And just go ahead and play the plants. So I could fund an award here, and I stop and I look at it. But I look at it and I go, landlord, I'm killing it. Banker looks maybe not great, but banker's so risky. I'm doing great on scientist, but he has anti-grav, so he's pushing towards that anyway. Don't really want to set that up. Thermalist, it's looking fine. Miner, it's looking fine. Venophile, not really a award he could fund with just 2 ahead. So I'm just going to play the plant prod. I think he'll be fine. If he funds banker, he funds it, but I don't think it's safe. Okay. Absolutely fantastic set of cards here. With Arctic Algae, I think you gotta take the Ice Asteroid. It's just too good for getting you a bunch of rebates and plants and making life great. Dome Crater is another fantastic card when you have all this steel. Lets me get a conversion, lets me put down a city. Love to see it. And of course, Business Network, when you have a -3, you want more cards. So what's the most important card here? I think Ice Asteroid is the most important because I already have the AI Central, the Inventor's Guild, the Restricted Area, etc. I don't love giving him card draw, but I don't think it's that bad compared to how good Ice Asteroid is for me. And I expect to get Dome Crater on the wheel. 96 mega credits. My opponent is rich. I'm at 39. uh, okay, so there's that sulfur-eating bacteria that we've been talking about. So, at this stage of the game, you have to ask yourself the question, how good is sulfur-eating bacteria? I don't have the extremophiles. I don't have the extreme cold fungus. I don't have the symbiotic fungus. I've seen all those cards. He might have 2 of them. I know he doesn't have the extreme cold fungus. But it's Gen 9. So, like, he plays it now, and then he has to use it Gen 9, use it Gen 10, and then it just pays off when he takes them off in Gen 11. Is this game really going to, like, Gen 12? I don't know. The way that the game's looking to me right now, with all the space events I have in hand, with Ice Asteroid and Arctic Algae and Giant Ice Asteroid, I feel like it's leaning more towards a Gen 11-ish game, maybe a Gen 12. So, like, is sulfur-eating bacteria really doing that much? Not really. Meanwhile, Shuttle's here. 8 mega credits, but it's going to discard all my future space cards by 2 mega credits. That seems pretty good. So I think Shuttles is better than sulfur eating bacteria. Yeah. And then he takes Dome Crater. So I'm a little surprised by that. I think Business Network was maybe a little better for him, but I won't say no to more card draw. Titanium Mine's just too late. It's Gen 9. So my opponent has 4 plants. Um, Here they do Natural Preserve because auction's getting close. They draw a card. They fund Banker. So I don't think that Banker is a good fund. However, I think it's a necessary fund. I think my opponent correctly realizes I'm dominating in all the awards and I'm looking pretty good on just the general pace of the game, and as a result, they kind of have to make a YOLO fund, and Banker is the safest of the YOLO funds. But as you know, I've said it many times, Banker is very easily flipped, so it's something he'll have to constantly be fighting against for the rest of this game. Um, I here make a big mistake. I think, I wait for him to I draw Deimos again, better lucky than good. I'll just draw my cards, right? No rush. I'll wait for him to play bushes before I blow up his plans with Giant Ice Asteroid. But what card did I just forget about? For those of you watching screaming at your monitor, yes, I did just forget about the Dome Crater I just saw. I know he has, and I know that he gets a conversion when he plays it. So that's sloppy of me. It's kind of dumb. I really should have seen it coming. But yeah, there's a Dome Crater and he gets a conversion, so wah wah. Kind of stupid of me. But, it's not so bad. Um, with Giant Ice Asteroid and Deimos seen, I can kind of uh, not worry about my plants so much, so I continue to just draw my cards and see what my options are. An ore processor is interesting, but I'm already looking at maybe dipping below 4 energy relatively soon, so I don't think it makes sense to use here. Though I do think about it for a little bit, because it could be good, but I think too likely to go below. I think I have enough plants already, and I think we'll be okay without it. It's close. I go ahead and just start blocking off next to the city. Your cities are not going to score points for you, my friend. And there's the Seb. We'll see how much points he gets from that. Probably not too much. So I want to play Giant Ice, but it's not worth it. I'm just going to greed, do more cards. GHG Factory is not worth it. I should have enough heat on my own currently with Deimos and GIA. Can you believe they buffed Deimos in the big box promo expansion? It's crazy. But yeah, it gets better somehow. So I look forward to playing around with that a little bit in the future on Steam. SF Memorial, not really that good. Gyropolis, though, okay, that explains the Banker Fund. That's an extra 10 mega credits. He's now beating me by 12 mega credits on Banker. We just start selling stuff and charging up the replicating robots. There's a symbiotic fungus, so he is making a little progress on the Seb. And so I go and do local heat trapping. Well, I'm not like super crazy about losing some of my heat, which I need in order to help finish the game. I think it's worth greeting out the shuttles here, so I can play shuttles before I play all my space cards, so I can just get more discounts and more efficiencies. Mining rights next to the city in Gen 9, I'm not a super big fan of, honestly. It's okay. If he needs to steal for something, fine, but like, I'd rather not take up all my valuable spots when I'm playing against Arcadian, who can just bully me. Speaking of bullying, minus 4 mega credits for you. Martian Rails plus 5 at 8 mega credits already. To the haters out there, it's going to pay for itself in like one more generation, so can it really be that bad of a card? uh, yeah, it can be. And then immigration shuttles, honestly not bad. Trying to defend Banker, your Terractor. Uh, but yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and get a bajillion cash back. Like, did my MC even go down? Like, that's disgusting. I play an Ice Asteroid, and I basically end up with more money than I started with due to all the rebates. So yeah, he doesn't have a way of taking the oxygen bonus. So I'm just gonna. I still have the same amount of money I started with. Like, look at that. Look at that. I played GIA of all cards, and I basically am at the same amount of money. It's so gross. So dumb. I just got, 6, 9, 12 from the media group, 14, 16 cash back. Like, what a ridiculous, ridiculous setup I've got here. So anyway, when you can play GIA for basically free, you've already kind of won the game. It's really a formality at this point. So I go ahead and just set up a nice conversion spot for next gen. Go ahead with the small animals, sure. And he funded Banker, so I'll go ahead and fight him on it. Why not? It's a fun distraction. I'll sell the energy saving and just fund the landlord. I'm pretty sure I'm winning that. Then research past the Mantigrav, so we're not going to give him research. So Hydrogen to Venus ain't so bad. Open City, I have 7 steel. I'll soon be 11 steel after the Deimos. It just makes sense to have a good steel dump. Plus, hey, Banker potential with Open City. That's 5 mega credit production for me. GHG would have been great because it does give me another heat for helping end the game, but Open City is just too good. Hydrogen to Venus, CEOs is also fine, but Hydrogen to Venus just has more potential upside to them with going Jovians and maybe having floating Habs, so I just cut it. I don't know. I don't think either of them matters. I don't need more cards. I don't need the research. I'm just going to play Deimos and, again, make money by the time I'm done with the play, because it's that dumb. And I got both bonuses there, so oceans are done. Oxygen bonus achieved there. Yeah, very, very gross. Get some power, which is cool. And then decides he needs to defend Banker even further and plays a capital there. So it's not the best capital place because it's only 3 points. It can't be more. Like if you placed it there in the southeast on like one plant, it's 1 less point, sure, but he's able to get a lot more rebates down here. So I think that's probably the better spot to put it, but I do think there's some value in taking 2 plants away and 4 cash away from me because that's where I was going to convert with my plants. So I think it's reasonable enough in a zero sum of I'm going to take away something really good for you. So I don't hate the move. I just take 6 cash back. We draw cards because it's really dumb. Venus Governor, not bad. More Banker fuel. Ants is funny if I want to eat his sulfur-eating bacteria, but I mean, do I really need to be that mean? It really isn't even that efficient. It's like 1 point for 9 mega credits. Like, eh. Well, 6, I guess. I got the card for free. But still, 1 point for 6 mega credits is just not really worth it. Though it's fun to consider. Soletta is not a card I want. Oh hey, let's double colony ship again. 1 mega credit. 1 mega credit. I literally will make money when I play ICS. That is so dumb. And that's why Self-Replicating Robots is such a good card if you can play it early. Fish comes down, sure, it doesn't matter. Dev Center, yeah, sure. Satellites. Suddenly Banker is now maybe flippable, which is why it's such a risky thing to fund. Even though I'm 17 meg... Was I 17 or 27? I'll have to go back and check him. Check him past self, come on. 27. I'm 27 meg 29 mega credits down, but I still think I can catch him. So that's good. Game's definitely looking like it can end next generation. I'm just going to keep blocking off next to the cities because it's funny. Martian Rails +6. We're in the green, baby. Next round, it's going to be even more. And then Sulfur Eating Bacteria for 9. Like, It's basically just the cost of the card. It didn't really do anything. It was just some extra actions. So it wasn't really that scary to have passed. It was just too late for it to be good. He's stalling out for something. I'm not really sure what. So I decided, I'll play a little cautiously then. We'll just do the Herbies. I am first player, so the action order there still remains the same, even though I did just one. Just seeing what he's looking to do. And at this point, I'm kind of figuring out how much do I want to meme versus how much do I want to be serious. Like, do I want to play Phobos Space Haven before Satellites to try and flip Banker, or am I going to, be serious and be responsible? Or, do I want to play Dev Center with all my steel? And I go, yeah, why not? More card draw, never bad with -3. And then Zeppelin's like, oh my gosh, I actually can flip Banker now, especially with Peroxide Power lowering it. Knock the City, I mean, it gives me some MC prod because I have Immigrant City, so, I mean, this is doable here. So I'm really thinking hard, do I want to play the Phobos Space Haven? But I say, I'll be responsible. I want to make sure I can end it next generation. So I'll just play the Satellites. I could fund Scientist, I guess. Keep him from funding Thermalist. Sure. And he raises heat because he now knows he can't fund Thermalist, so might as well get the points where he can. And I play the Zeppelins because it's a lot of MC prod, and suddenly I'm, like only like 15, 16, 17 away. Like, it's doable. And then MedLab, okay. Okay, that's like 6 prod there. AMC is kind of whatever. I already cut TG. Decomposers, sure. Investment loan's actually kind of a trap because it lowers MC prod, and then Sister Planet comes back. That's another 3 MC prod, and hey, it's a Venus tag, which means I can now play Venus Governor with my Wild tag, which means I can get even closer to flipping Banker. And at this point, that's really all that matters to me. Try and flip Banker. It's very clear that I've won. And you take indentured workers because you never know when you might need 8 cash. So he takes his TR, I take my TR, and then I start drawing cards. Sulfur exports, like, if the game's just trying to help me win Banker at this point. It's kind of gross. I need to save some luck for the future. And insulation too, except I have no heat, so I'll skip it. Kind of want that Soletta back now. Power infrastructure, sure, it's cash positive. -3 makes all things possible. Sure, plantation's nice, helps me end. I do think, by the way, that greenery, instead of going here, should have gone in the southeast because he's now made a nice urbanized area spot for me. I think that's a small mistake, but I mean, it doesn't matter, right? Like, at this stage, it's not really worth saying it's a mistake. It's just a little thing for optimization in future games. He hits me with AMC, sure. I don't care. The game's about to end. I find wife, which is funny. It really means the Jovian threat is dead for him. And I got enough steel. I can start selling some of it off because I want to be able to use plants to convert. 1 point on the fish, the Callisto, trying to move towards Jobs and defend Banker. So I'm still like 19 mega credits down, but I think I can do it. I go ahead and just put Phobos on there to get the 2 discounts so I can just play it a little more efficiently. Rails has gone positive value, and sulfur-eating bacteria slightly positive itself, so there you go. Silence all the haters. I decided to just SP a greenery right there in order to get the plant that I need in order to go forward with a open city convert. So some of you might be asking, Thread, why did you do it there? Don't you know you had a perfectly good city over there next to Noctis that you could have done that to get the plant as well? Yes, I do know that. However, putting the greenery at that spot gives me 4 plus 3 cash. That is 7 cash for just 1 point, right? So what's another card that gives around that amount of cash for 1 point? Indentured Workers, right? We all kind of agree that it's worth it to pay 1 point to get 5 mega credits. Well, in that case, I think it's also worth it to pay 1 point to get 7 mega credits, right? So in this case, that's why I do it there. And sure, we'll play Power Infrastructure, just as a little stalling move so he doesn't go and SP a bunch of greeneries. He does greenhouses, which is great. Also means it's now trivial for me to end. Go ahead and do the open city with all steel. Convert for more steel, so I can now do an urbanized area for 4 points, which is just gross. Standard is other city. Sure, and the ecosystems, yeah. So, rover construction, pretty good for him. Immigration shuttles, pretty good for me. I'm now at 36 mega credits to his 46. So I have to just get 10 mega credits in order to flip it. Oh, 9 mega credits to flip it. Because he did investment loan. So I'm just 4 mega credits behind. Now MedLab will be enough in order to flip Banker. And with that, that was the real goal of the game at this point. Unfortunately, playing those cities did bring my power down, so I can no longer play the Magfield generators. I debate about if Stratopolis is good, and I realize it's not. It's just 0 points. It'd just be playing it to meme. So I go, Sulfur Exports is at least 8 point. Then yeah, I guess Wife is 8 point or so. Sure, we'll play that. And I think what I could have done here is I could have sold all but the NRB, then done like an SP Greenery, and then played NRB, and that would have been the best scoring. But instead, I just SP a city down there to further flex on getting more value on Banker. But I realized I should have done it differently. SP Greenery, and NRB was more points. But it doesn't really matter when you have -3 AI Central restricted area and all that. Also, I'm very disappointed that we only got 5 cities in a row here. Imagine if we gotten the 6th city over there somehow. Oh, that'd have been so nice. I think we'd need to have the cities shifted up in order to make that a reality. Do the 1 city there, 1 city there, then lava tube settlement, and then urbanized area. Yeah, city, Noctis, lava tube, urbanized area in order to get the 6 around there. But hey, we did the best we could with the positions we had. I think it's a nice aesthetic. So yeah, 131 to 90, not much to say. AI Central and -3, very strong. Having both ECs in your opening hand, very strong. Arcadian is a stupid corp on this map, and especially with Arctic Algae. So there's really nothing my opponent could have done. It was just too strong of a setup for me. But hopefully that kind of gives you a better idea into how Venus has changed the game a little bit, and we'll see how it goes in future rounds. So thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.